Hello, lovely student. This is my next lesson on text files, lesson 7. In this lesson, I'll be looking at reading from a text file using delimiters and string handling. This lesson is an activity given to you, and in this lesson, I will present a solution as well. So let's look at the activity that I have created for you. Create a Delphi project called Developers Worldwide. Use the sample GUI image 1. To create your own GUI and the sample text file image 2 to create a text file called statistics.txt. Your program must read from the file statistics.txt and display the country name and the number of developers on the rich edit component neatly aligned in columns and headings. Note that the country names and the number of developers are separated by the comma delimiter. Okay, so let's take a look at the Delphi program. I've created the project, and this is my GUI design. I put in a rich edit, a T panel, and there's my button to code get statistics. I've created a variable called T file, data type text file, 2 variables, one to store each line of the text file, and the other variable S country to store the name of the country. I've created a variable to store the number of developers, and IPOS will keep track of the position of the comma. I'm checking if the file exists. If the file does not exist, I'm displaying an error message and exiting the program. To check if the file does not exist, you could say if not file exist, the name of the text file, or you could say if file exists, the name of the text file equals false. I'm clearing my red output, and these lines of code will set the columns so that the name of the country and the number of developers would be aligned in columns with headings. This is the line for the headings. If the file does not exist, I'm assigning tfile, statistics.txt, and I'm resetting tfile, opening the file in read mode and setting the file pointer to the beginning of the file. There are many lines of text in the text file, so I'm using a while loop, while not EOF tfile, and I'm reading from the file. So while it's not the end of the file, let's read the first line of text. I'm reading using read line procedure. I'm reading from T file, from memory into S line. S line is my string variable. Once I read from a text file and store the first line in a string variable, I can virtually do anything with that string variable, and I can manipulate it using string handling. In the next line of code, I'm using pos, and I'm finding the position of the comma in S line. Pos returns the position of a searched character or substring. It will give you the first occurrence, and it returns it as data type integer. In the next line of code, I'm using the copy function, and I'm copying from S line, starting at position 1, and I'm copying IPOS -1. One character before the comma. So I'm copying from the beginning of the line to one character before the comma. I do not want to copy the comma. I'm then deleting from S line, starting at position 1, and I'm deleting inclusive of the comma. IPOS will give me the position of where the comma is found, and I want to delete inclusive of the comma. Here in this line, iNumDevs, after you delete a line, after I deleted the country name and the comma, the rest of the line still remains in my variable called sLine. So sLine will still hold the number of developers. And then all I needed to do is to take the number of developers, which is of value string, convert it into integer, and store it in my variable called iNumDevs. And then I'm displaying the name of the country, and I'm displaying the number of developers, and do not forget to close your file. Let's run this program and see how it works. Okay, so get statistics, click on the button, and there you got the country name, the number of developers, very neatly aligned in columns with headings. So activity 1.1 is on a calculation. And let's go through the activity because you are going to be doing this activity on your own. Right, so using the existing project called Developers Worldwide, the project that we just used, add a T button and a caption, call the caption Total Developers. Rename that button to BTN Calculate. Your program must do the following when BTN is clicked. Load the text file statistics.txt. Test if the file exists. If the file does not exist, display a suitable error message and terminate the program. If the file exists, read from the file and separate the data and store in suitable variables. Use the information to calculate the total number of developers worldwide, the average number of developers, display the total and the average on the rich edit. You can use the same project, just put in an extra button and enjoy coding. Let's look at the next activity. Activity 1.2. Using the same project called Developers Worldwide, add a T button and a caption and call that caption Search. Rename it to BTN Search. Your programmers do the following when BTN Search is clicked. Load the text file statistics.txt. Test if the file exists. If the file does not exist, display a suitable error message and terminate the program. If the file exists, search through the file and display the number of developers in India. Your sample output should read India as 529,760 developers. Enjoy my 2 activities and follow me on my next video for the solutions to the activity. Thank you, students, for listening. Stay motivated, stay inspired.